One of the most famous characters from my 600-pound life, Charity Pierce's tale grabbed the attention of people all around the world as she began a rocky journey of rehabilitation from a weight of 778 pounds.
I have to have the restroom brought to me because my weight is more than what the toilet holds. I can't even sit in the bathtub, so I have the sponge bath.
With her health in peril at a very young age, the famous bariatric surgeon Dr. Now stepped in to be her savior. Dr. Now emphasized the urgency of her situation and the impending danger of death. Join us as we explore Charity Pierce's trials, achievements, and crucial occasions after her appearance on My 600-Pound Life, Daily Life Struggles. Charity's life was a daily struggle against the weight of her own being. Every movement seemed like pushing against a wall of resistance, and each step required Herculean effort. Simple things that others took for granted became tremendous obstacles for Emily, serving as a continual reminder of her physical limits. Charity relied on the help of her daughter, Charlie, and her lover, Tony, to get through the day. Getting out of bed needed a coordinated effort, with Charlie and Tony assisting in lifting her huge frame. Even sitting on the sofa or using the toilet was a difficult activity that necessitated careful maneuvering and continual assistance. Charity's problems were most visible in the kitchen. Cooking, once a source of joy and nourishment, had become nearly impossible to master. She delegated kitchen tasks to Charlie and Tony because she was unable to stand for long periods of time or perform the physical demands of food preparation. As a result, their diet was primarily made up of convenience foods and takeaways, leaving Charity wanting more nourishment and diversity. Leaving the house was another challenge. Charity's girth made it difficult for her to get into cars or walk around comfortably in public places. She was frequently ashamed of her appearance, retreating from social interactions and avoiding circumstances in which she could be evaluated or mocked. Even ordinary activities, such as going to the mall with Charlie, were plagued with dread and self-doubt. Doctor appointments were a logistical nightmare, necessitating specific arrangements and assistance from medical workers. Sometimes an ambulance was summoned to carry Charity safely to her appointments, demonstrating the degree of her mobility limitations and the difficulties she encountered in getting health care. At home, Charlie was Charity's lifeline, offering both physical and mental assistance. She embraced the job of carer with grace and compassion, attending to Charity's needs with unrelenting attention. Charlie was always there for Charity, whether she was showering, dressing, or going about her daily routines, making her feel loved and cared for despite the hurdles they faced. Even with Charlie's assistance, Charity's problems were far from over. Finding clothing in her size was practically hard, leaving her feeling vulnerable and insecure. She frequently wore enormous shirts and knickers that blended into the folds of her skin, a continuous reminder of her body's limits and the difficulties she experienced in finding acceptance and belonging. Despite the challenges she faced, Charity persevered. She approached each day with courage and tenacity, refusing to allow her physical limitations to define her. With Charlie and Tony by her side, she found strength in their love and support, knowing that they could face any difficulty life threw at them. The risks of her condition. Obesity is more than simply a cosmetic concern. It is a medical condition with major repercussions. Take Charity Pierce as an example. Her tale shines light on the hazards of obesity and the difficult journey many people undertake in overcoming it. But what precisely is obesity, and why is it dangerous? Let us break it down. Obesity is commonly measured using BMI or body mass index. It's a basic computation that uses a person's weight and height to get their total body fat. Essentially, BMI indicates whether someone is underweight, regular weight, overweight, or obese. It's like a roadmap for understanding how weight affects health. Charity, who weighed an astounding 778 pounds, had an obese BMI. Her excessive weight created major health hazards, putting strain on her heart and other essential organs. But what exactly are the risks of obesity? First and foremost, obesity is a significant risk factor for heart disease. Excess weight can cause high blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes, all of which raise the risk of heart attacks and strokes. The heart must work harder to pump blood throughout the body, placing it under enormous strain, and raising the risk of cardiovascular issues. But the perils do not end there. Obesity is linked to a variety of additional health problems, including type 2 diabetes, some types of cancer, sleep apnea, and osteoarthritis. Excess weight can put pressure on joints, causing pain and inflammation. It can also disrupt hormone balances and raise the risk of some malignancies, including breast and colon cancer. Obesity can also have serious consequences for mental health and well-being. Many obese persons experience stigma and prejudice, which can contribute to sadness, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Physical constraints caused by excess weight can also have an impact on mental health, making it difficult to participate in activities and enjoy life to the fullest. Despite the risks, overcoming obesity is not an easy task. It frequently necessitates a mix of lifestyle modifications, including diet modification, exercise, and, in some circumstances, medication intervention. Charity's weight loss journey was full of ups and downs. She attempted to cut her sugar intake and include exercise in her daily routine, but the path to success was littered with difficulties. Charity's experience highlights the significance of addressing obesity and its accompanying consequences. It's more than just losing weight to look better. It's about maintaining health and longevity. Understanding the risks of obesity and taking proactive efforts to address them can help us improve our overall health and lessen the burden of chronic disease. Hence, it is evident that obesity is a severe health concern, and by recognizing the risks and taking steps to mitigate them, we may move towards a healthier, happier future. Where it all began. Charity Pierce's journey to obesity did not start quickly. It was a gradual accumulation of trials and tribulations that began in her childhood. Charity's upbringing in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, was anything from steady. Her father struggled with alcoholism and frequently vented his rage on her mother and herself. Every night, Charity witnessed the cycle of violence: her father's rants, her mother's sobs, and his eventual unconsciousness on the living room floor. Charity, feeling alone and neglected, turned to food for solace. At the age of 10, she found refuge in the refrigerator, eating any junk food she could find: ice cream, chocolate bars, potato chips, and fries. It was a brief respite from the upheaval of her home life, a chance to dull the pain and fill the emptiness left by her missing father and overburdened mother. Charity's relationship with food has become increasingly unhealthy over the years. When she entered puberty in the late 1990s, she was already concerned about her weight. The Charity was bullied at school and in her neighborhood, and she was constantly mocked for her beauty. Despite her best efforts to ignore the nasty words, they had a negative impact on her self-esteem. However, Charity remained resilient. She would not allow the nastiness of others to define her. Instead, she used teenage rebellion as a shield against negativity, determined to pursue her own path despite the difficulties in her way. However, as she approached her early 20s and maturity, the weight of her hardships grew more difficult to bear. Despite well-meaning encouragement to go on a diet, Charity struggled to break free from her unhealthy eating habits. Dealing with the pressures of American high school, raging hormones, and seasonal depression, she turned to binge eating as her preferred coping strategy. It was a vicious cycle of emotional eating and shame, with each binge exacerbating her sorrow. Then, in 2001, a disaster occurred. Charity was bedridden after an accident that prevented her from moving freely or engaging in physical exercise. Without the capacity to move or burn calories, her binge eating increased, resulting in additional weight gain and exacerbating her already vulnerable health. Charity saw obesity as more than just a medical issue. It was a manifestation of her innermost sorrow and fears. It was a silent plea for assistance, a cry for understanding and acceptance in a world that seemed intent on tearing her down. Charity, however, maintained hope even under the most difficult circumstances. She knew her journey was far from ending, and there was yet hope for forgiveness and rejuvenation. And as we'll soon discover, her healing journey was only beginning. The wedding dress and Dr. Now. Charity Pierce set out on a quest in 2015 that would forever change her life. She was 39 years old and stood at a crossroads, longing to let go of the weight that had been on her for years. Her motivation? She has a dream wedding dress and hopes to marry her beloved Tony. She envisioned a picture-perfect ceremony with wedding bells ringing in honor of their love. Charity's quest for change piqued the interest of the world-renowned show, My 600-Pound Life. The crew lost no time in tracking down Charity, whose issues with obesity were well known in her neighborhood. Neighbors murmured about her health, and perhaps someone had contacted the show's producers to request assistance. Charity's entrance on the show introduced viewers to a lady burdened down by her own physique. Charity's health was at risk at 778 pounds, and Dr. Now, the renowned obesity specialist, realized that quick action was required. Dr. Now took decisive action rather than simply patting Charity on the shoulder and sending her home. He planned for Charity to be admitted to a hospital in Houston, where she would receive round-the-clock care under his supervision. Charity began her struggle to restore her health while surrounded by a team of dedicated nurses and doctors. Charity began a strict weight loss regimen under the supervision of Dr. Now. Her caloric intake was limited to 1,000 to 1,200 calories per day, and she said goodbye to her favorite desserts and takeaway dinners. Her weight loss journey was meticulously tracked by medical professionals at every stage. Despite the difficulties she encountered, Charity stayed determined to achieve. She realized that her ambitions of getting married and having a future with Tony were dependent on her ability to conquer her weight challenges. With each passing day, she gained strength from her unshakable determination and the unfailing support of those around her. After 3 months of unshakable commitment to her weight loss plan, Charity got on the scale again, and the results were nothing short of amazing. She had lost over 100 ounces, demonstrating her unwavering commitment and willpower. Dr. Now was impressed by Charity's development, but he knew her road hadn't ended. Charity's health was gradually improving, so she was ready to return home and finish her change in familiar circumstances. Charity's return to her hometown brought with it new obstacles. Her daughter, Charlie, struggled with her mother's absence and turned to eating for comfort. Meanwhile, Charity prepared for gastric bypass surgery, which would change the trajectory of her weight loss quest forever. The surgery went well, and Charity returned home full of hope and drive. With a tight 1,000-calorie diet and a renewed commitment to fitness, she eagerly welcomed the next stage of her journey. As Charity proceeded to lose weight and regain her health, she realized that her transformation was about more than just losing weight. It was about taking back her life, happiness, and future. And with each passing day, she got one step closer to fulfilling her ambitions and living the life she had always desired. Therapy for self-discovery and healing. Charity Pierce's struggle with obesity was more than just losing weight. It was a journey of self-discovery and healing that necessitated confronting the emotional scars that had led her to bad eating habits. Despite having gastric bypass surgery, Charity struggled with persistent binge eating, which threatened to undermine her progress and prevent her from being eligible for skin removal surgery. Faced with this setback, Dr. Now suggested that Charity seek treatment to address the underlying issues that are fueling her food addiction. Charity accepted the concept of therapy, realizing that her food issues extended beyond physical desires. With the help of her therapist, she set out on a voyage of self-reflection, digging into the emotional traumas that had driven her unhealthy connection with food. Charity investigated the causes of her overeating in therapy, revealing a tangled web of emotions that included childhood trauma, feelings of inadequacy, and poor self-worth. Together with her therapist, she acquired healthy coping tools to replace her binge eating patterns, such as mindfulness and stress management techniques. As Charity went deeper into her past, she began to uncover the roots of her food addiction. She learned that her binge eating was frequently caused by feelings of loneliness, grief, and anxiety, which she had previously masked through food. Through treatment, she learned to confront these feelings and build stronger coping mechanisms. Charity's rehabilitation progressed week after week. She began to make better eating choices, preferring substantial meals that energized both her body and soul. With the help of her spouse, Tony, she even participated in culinary classes to learn how to create healthful meals at home, making mealtime a source of joy and connection rather than a source of conflict. However, treatment was about improving her mentality as much as her eating habits. Charity worked with her therapist to question negative attitudes and beliefs about herself, replacing them with a renewed sense of self-compassion and acceptance. Through treatment, Charity began to see herself in a new light, as a strong, resilient woman capable of overcoming any challenge in her path. She learned to enjoy minor wins and forgive herself for past faults. Charity's quest for self-discovery continued, and she found herself getting more confident and powerful by the day. She began to recognize the importance of self-care, not only physically but also emotionally and mentally. Then came the moment of truth. Charity got back onto the scale after over a year of therapy and hard work, holding her breath as the numbers flashed in front of her. To her surprise, she had crossed the 600-pound mark, making her eligible for skin removal surgery at last. With tears in her eyes, Charity faced the next stage of her journey with fresh determination and hope. She understood that therapy had been important in her achievement, providing her with the tools and insights she needed to overcome her obstacles and regain her life. Charity looked ahead to the future with a renewed sense of excitement and opportunity. With therapy as her guiding light, she was prepared to tackle whatever problems that arose, confident in her own power and tenacity. With each step forward, she got closer to being the best version of herself. The sad news. Charity Pierce's narrative took a devastating turn at the start of her surgery preparations. Charity braced herself for the revolutionary surgery that promised to remove the physical anguish caused by her extra weight. Charity remained resolute throughout the preparations and talks with the medical team, motivated by her desire for a healthier and happier life. Despite the anticipation and preparations, disaster struck with terrible intensity. Charity learned while in her hospital bed that her beloved mother had died of brain cancer. Charity was left reeling in grief and misery after her mother, her anchor and source of support, died unexpectedly. The weight of this tremendous loss exacerbated the emotional anguish of her already difficult healing process, sending Charity into a severe melancholy. The unexpected and untimely death of her mother triggered a surge of overpowering emotions, leaving Charity wrestling with tremendous sorrow, loneliness, and terror. Faced with the terrible grief of losing her mother, Charity found herself on the verge of despair, unable to find solace in the darkness that surrounded her. Among the tumult and pain, Charity came to a crossroads, wrestling with the weight of her loss. In the depths of her misery, she considered turning to the familiar comfort of binge eating to cope with the awful pain and loss she had endured. Despite immense adversity, Charity refused to give up hope. She resolved to press on, driven by an indomitable spirit and unyielding determination to honor her mother's legacy while reclaiming her own sense of self-worth and dignity. Charity faced the scary prospect of undergoing surgery to remove excess skin, a critical step in her effort to restore her health and happiness. Despite the emotional upheaval that threatened to consume her, Charity summoned the strength to continue with the treatment, pushed by a tenacious determination to forge ahead despite the obstacles she faced. Charity returned from the surgery triumphant, her weight slashed in half and her spirit undaunted by the hardships she faced. Charity faced the voyage ahead with newfound vigor and drive, buoyed by the unfailing support of her medical team and her own inner strength. Charity defied the odds as she proceeded on her journey, undergoing additional surgeries and losing much more weight. Her transformation was nothing short of miraculous, demonstrating the power of resilience, tenacity, and the unwavering human spirit. Despite the deep loss and sorrow she faced, Charity emerged from the darkness stronger and more resilient than ever. Her journey is an uplifting reminder of the human spirit's tenacity and the transformational power of hope, courage, and perseverance in the face of life's most difficult trials. Complications after skin surgery. Charity Pierce experienced complications after getting skin surgery. Despite her progress, Charity experienced cellulitis infections, which required hospitalization. Dr. Now did additional skin surgery, removing 38 pounds of extra tissue from her stomach. Charity spent more than 2 months in the hospital recovering from the treatment. Unfortunately, a few months later, the infection reappeared, necessitating further surgery to avoid septic shock. These setbacks were difficult for Charity, but she was determined to overcome them on her weight loss quest, going back home in Breakup. As Charity attempted to cope with the terrible pain of losing her mother, she was dealt another crushing blow in her personal life. In a shocking breach of trust, Charity's boyfriend-turned-fiancé abruptly left their engagement to pursue a romance with her own sister. The betrayal went deep, leaving Charity astonished and distraught, calling into question the fundamental core of her relationships and the individuals she had trusted the most. In a 2019 follow-up episode of My 600-Pound Life, Where Are They Now?, Charity, Tony, and Charlie returned to Iowa to reconnect with their family. Charity's journey was bittersweet, as she finally got to honor her mother's memories with a memorial service. However, during the family reunion, Tony, Charity's companion, established a romance with Charity's own sister, causing unforeseen tension. This unexpected betrayal shocked Charity and sent her into a deep melancholy. Charity used unhealthy coping techniques such as food, drink, and cigarettes to deal with the grief of betrayal and loss. Despite the emotional failures, Charity demonstrated incredible resilience and tenacity to face adversity. She eventually regained control of her life and made significant adjustments. Despite the difficulties she encountered, Charity was able to lose 29 pounds thanks to her patience and dedication to her health quest. The road to rehabilitation was not without its difficulties, as Charity had to deal with the news of her sister's pregnancy with Tony's child. Despite these hurdles, Charity was determined to restore her health and happiness. In an amazing turn of events, Charity's efforts paid off as she lost 41 pounds, bringing her total weight down to 335 pounds. Encouraged by Charity's improvement, Dr. Now approved her for another skin removal procedure, marking a crucial milestone in her metamorphosis. Despite the obstacles and disappointments they encountered, Charity, Tony, and Charlie persisted on their journey to a greater and healthier future. Overdosed on painkillers. Charity had her third skin removal surgery to address the long-term implications of her extraordinary weight loss journey in a 2019 episode. During the treatment, a considerable amount of superfluous skin, weighing 15.2 pounds, was removed from her leg, marking another step towards a better life. However, throughout the rehabilitation process, Charity experienced a dangerous setback. Charity, who was having difficulty managing her pain, begged Dr. Now for additional medicines to help her feel better. Despite her protests, Dr. Now recognized that Charity's request was unnecessary because she did not require further medication. Charity had brought painkillers into the hospital without the medical team's knowledge, yielding to the lure of self-medication. Charity tragically overdosed on painkillers, resulting in a life-threatening condition. She went unresponsive and stopped breathing, requiring Dr. Now to act quickly to save her life. Dr. Now's rapid measures and medical expertise allowed him to revive Charity and stabilize her condition. However, the incident had a long-term influence on their relationship because Charity's actions undermined trust between them. Despite the setback, Charity's close encounter with death served as a wake-up call, emphasizing the dangers of self-medication and the need to follow medical advice. Charity faced the difficulty of regaining trust with her medical team while also tackling the underlying causes that contributed to her unsafe behavior. Charity stayed determined to overcome obstacles and restore her health and well-being, thanks to Dr. Now and her loved ones' support. Battling kidney cancer. Following her appearance on the show, Charity remained committed to her health quest and made considerable success in her weight loss goals. With effort and dedication, she lost an extra 8 stone, or 113 pounds, furthering her journey to a healthy living. Charity, on the other hand, suffered an unexpected and concerning health setback when she was diagnosed with kidney cancer in December 2019. This revelation filled her with worry as she remembered her mother's battle with cancer, raising concerns about her own health. Charity took immediate action, undergoing kidney removal surgery in March 2020 to prevent the cancer from spreading to her other kidney and potentially damaging other key organs in her body. The surgery was successful, giving Charity renewed hope and drive to overcome this challenge. Charity took to social media to provide updates on her journey, expressing hope for a bright future despite the obstacles she faced. In a touching Facebook post, she disclosed the operation and her continued rehabilitation, assuring her followers that she was recovering and strong. Despite the challenges she faced, Charity remained resilient and focused on her health and well-being as she negotiated this challenging period. Her Facebook profile is a monument to her determination, displaying her ongoing dedication to maintaining her weight loss and spending quality time with her daughter, Charlie. Charity's path to better health serves as an encouragement to others suffering similar issues, emphasizing the value of tenacity, persistence, and optimism in overcoming life's adversities. Charity's daughter joining Dr. Now's program. Charity Pierce's daughter, Charlie, emerged as a key character in My 600-Pound Life, Where Are They Now?, as she shared her mother's issues with food addiction and weight gain. According to the 2016 episode, Charlie's weight had risen to 390 pounds, mimicking her mother's previous struggles. However, by the end of the episode, Charlie had lost 14 pounds, a positive step forward in her own quest to regain her health. Recognizing the significance of their relationship dynamics, Charity and Charlie sought help from a therapist to navigate the transition from carer and patient to mother and kid. This collaborative effort showed their shared commitment to assisting each other on their different paths to wellness. As the show came to a close, fans saw Charity's incredible accomplishment, as her weight dropped to 338 pounds. This huge feat resulted in a total weight loss of 440 pounds, demonstrating Charity's enduring determination and tenacity in the face of hardship. In the succeeding 2017 episode, viewers learned about Charlie's desire to become Dr. Now's patient in order to qualify for bariatric surgery, as her mother had done. This watershed moment highlighted Charlie's own path to recover her health and autonomy, inspired by her mother's transforming experience. Charlie returned home and went on her own mission to lose the weight that had accumulated during her mother's weight loss struggle. With her mother's unflinching support and permission, Charlie bravely chose stomach reduction surgery, a decision that would change her life forever. The results were nothing short of amazing, with Charlie's weight dropping from 385 pounds to a staggering 154 pounds. Her amazing turnaround acted as a light of hope for people facing similar issues, motivating others to embark on their own paths to better health and well-being. Charlie's journey did not finish with her surgery. She continued to track her progress through selfies and Facebook updates, sharing her successes and setbacks with a devoted fan base and showing viewers. Her authenticity and sensitivity struck a chord with her audience, establishing a sense of camaraderie and support among people facing similar challenges. Charity had met her goal of weighing less than 200 pounds 4 years after surgery, demonstrating her unwavering determination and tenacity. As the program ended, Charity bid farewell to the hospital walls and returned home to Iowa, accompanied by Charlie. The mother-daughter combo established a tiny but formidable women's squad, united in their desire to live better, happier lives. Their journey inspired and empowered countless others all across the world, reminding us that with dedication, endurance, and support, everything is possible. And Charlie staying on track. In a 2020 edition of My 600-Pound Life, Where Are They Now?, viewers found that Charity and her daughter Charlie had become separated when Charlie made the difficult decision to return to Iowa without her mother. This separation was an attempt to break free from their dysfunctional relationship and focus on their own paths to better health. During their time apart, Charlie began her own weight loss quest, losing an astonishing 90 pounds via her own efforts and perseverance. Meanwhile, Charity was struggling with her own issues, including a relapse into old habits such as consuming alcohol. Despite the difficulties they encountered, fate brought Charity and Charlie back together when they both returned to Iowa. This reconnection was a watershed moment in their relationship, as they sought to assist each other on their individual paths to greater health. Charity, determined to make positive changes in her life, recommitted to Dr. Now's program, realizing the necessity of putting her health and well-being first. She returned to the program with a newfound purpose, wanting to take control of her life and health. As the program came to a close, fans saw Charity's improvement as she made tremendous advances toward her weight loss goal. By the end of the episode, Charity had reached a significant milestone, weighing less than 300 pounds. This incredible performance demonstrated Charity's tenacity and resolve to overcome adversity and restore her health. A happy family. As Charity continued her road to improved health, her daughter Charlie made considerable progress in sustaining her weight reduction achievement. Despite previous struggles with obesity, Charlie remained committed to her health quest and was able to maintain her weight loss. Charlie gave a wonderful update later that year, revealing that her mother was now prospering despite her initial hardships. Charity embraced her role as a grandmother, finding joy in playful moments with her granddaughter and sharing these lovely memories on sites like TikTok for everybody to see. Charity, who was uninspired and excessively fat in her first appearance on the show, is no longer around. She's virtually unrecognizable now, dressed casually and oozing happiness and vitality. Her transformation is a testament to her hard work and determination, and it has inspired numerous others who are struggling with their own bodies. Charlie's path also took a good turn when she reached personal milestones. According to her Facebook page, she became engaged in January 2022 and gave birth to a daughter, both of which marked new chapters in her journey to happiness and fulfillment. Charity made a happy announcement in March 2023, revealing that Charlie is expecting another baby in October. This pleasant development highlights the amazing transformations and fresh happiness that Charity and Charlie have had in their lives. Their stories are stunning reminders of the human spirit's resilience, as well as the transformational power of determination and endurance. Charity and Charlie's journey has not only improved their own lives, but has also inspired countless others to believe in the power of good change. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.